Welcome to the Veroscope analysis today of the Karen Reid trial, where we'll be looking at Chris Albert. If you're new to the case, this is Karen Reid, and she was tried twice for the murder of a Boston cop called John O'Keefe. And today we're going to be looking at the actual trial video of Colin Albert, whose son Chris Albert was possibly at 34 Fairview, which is the house that John O'Keefe was found discovered killed on the front lawn of. And to make it even more confusing, there's another Albert whose house it was, number 34 Fairview. So let's carry on with the actual, before we do, there's a wonderful channel which I would like you to take a look at, and it's called the Trial Channel. And the trial footage that we'll be looking at is on this channel. It's an excellent channel. They've got hundreds of videos, and they clean up a lot of the trial itself so that we don't have to go through the boring parts. So do check them out. It's called the Trial Channel, and they've got wonderful, over 700, if you're interested in trials, they've got over 781 trial transcripts, many of them very long, or almost complete trials, and they're conveniently put into different categories. Okay, so let's have a look at Chris Albert on the witness stand, and then we're going to be running through the actual analysis of forensic linguistics and statement analysis, and we're going to see where there's any deception from Chris or not, as the case may be. Okay, let's listen to the actual trial now.
Okay, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Mr. Albert, you and I have never met, correct?
I don't believe so.
You've testified that you've essentially lived in Canton your whole life, correct?
Correct.
Moved there when you were 4 years old?
Correct.
And the house to which you and your family moved was 34 Fairview, correct?
Yes.
You lived there for how long?
33 years?
And you currently own D&E Pizza in Canton?
Correct.
I believe you testified that you've owned it for approximately 25 years?
Correct.
Clearly, you have a lot of ties to the city of Canton. Would you agree?
Sure.
You live there?
Yes.
You work there?
Yes.
You have family there?
Yep.
You raised your kids there?
Yep.
And you also are a town selectman in the city of Canton? Or
Recently elected.
the town of Canton, I should say.
It's a town, correct.
And not only that, but your brother, Kevin Albert, is a police officer in Canton?
He is.
Your brother, Brian Albert, with whom you grew up, is currently retired, but had been a Boston police officer who lived in Canton, correct?
Correct.
You would agree with me that Brian Albert only moved from Canton after John O'Keefe was found dead on his front lawn, correct?
Can you rephrase that?
I'll phrase it the exact same way and ask for a yes or no if you can do that. You would agree with me that your brother Brian Albert only moved from Canton after...
Okay, so all the witnesses have had a degree of coaching, and some of them have learned how to use tactics like, can you rephrase that, if they want to buy a little bit more thinking time.
John O'Keefe was found dead on his front lawn.
Objection.
Can you answer that? Can you answer that?
Yeah, I just don't understand the phrase, but he moved shortly after that, yes.
Your brother Tim Albert lives with your parents in Canton, correct?
So he's sensitive about the fact that Brian Albert has moved since the killing, and I believe he also rehomed his dog, And although the judge wouldn't let anyone inside the house in terms of cameras or photographs, I believe there was a lot of changes inside the house with the removal of certain rooms' flooring. If anyone knows more about that, please do put it in the comments. But either way, Chris Albert is sensitive about the move. Incidentally, as we go through statement analysis and forensic linguistics, we'll be putting in flags for deception. Individual flags mean nothing per se. So we look for clusters of these deception markers and superclusters. I think it's also worth noting at this stage that just because deception is found within a statement, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person is guilty. So a good example of that is I've looked at statements in the past where the statement itself is absolutely full of deception flags, and the person wasn't guilty, but they knew who was. So there's always a reason why that deception exists. And in this case, I think we can safely say that Chris Albert claims that he wasn't at 34 Fairview that night, and his wife also supports that in her evidence. So if he wasn't actually in the house, which I do believe he wasn't, then he cannot be guilty of any crime that occurred at that house. So Chris himself is innocent. So the question then becomes, if he shows deception, why? And if so, is he protecting anyone? And Chris does have a son called Colin, who was at 34 Fairview. And some people say that he left the house before John O'Keefe, who was killed and was found dead on the lawn. Some people say that his son left before John O'Keefe was at the property. And other people believe that he was at the property. So during this cross-examination, Yannetti, who is the defense lawyer, will be trying to establish doubt as to what time Colin, his son, who was only 18 at the time, by the way, and possibly drunk, so that he'll be trying to establish what time did Colin come home.
Correct.
And Tim Albert and your parents live directly across the street from the Canton Police Department, correct?
Correct.
Do you know whom they bought that house from?
Objection.
The objection sustained.
But you still live in Canton
Correct.
with your wife, Julie Albert,
Correct.
and your son, Colin Albert, correct?
Along with my other two sons, yes.
And you would agree that your entire family has deep roots in the town of Canton?
I guess.
You would agree with me that the Albert family is well known in the town of Canton?
We have a big family.
And you would agree with me that the Albert family is a powerful family in the town of Canton?
Objection.
Sustained.
As a town selectman, you have some power, do you not?
I'm one of 5 selectmen.
And as a police detective, Kevin Albert has some power, does he not?
Objection.
Sustained.
And you also have close friends on the Canton Police Department, do you not?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
I have some.
Now, you know that Massachusetts State Police Trooper...
So already we see a pattern of hedging. It's difficult to get a completely straight answer. Everything is slightly hedged. We are establishing a baseline. It is possible for him to give straight single answers of yes and no when he's telling the truth, but where he hedges, he is for some reason sensitive to the answer, or he suspects Yannetti is leading him down an alleyway, the conclusion of which wouldn't serve his interests. That's why we're seeing the hedging.
Michael Proctor is the lead investigator on this case, correct?
I know that.
One of your wife's best friends is Michael Proctor's sister, Courtney Proctor, correct?
Objection.
Okay, that's sustained. You've got another witness you can ask that of.
And of course, the prosecutor doesn't want any of this potential truth coming out very easily with the connections to law enforcement, the political power, the family ties, the family willing to say or do anything to protect others. All normal and doesn't necessarily. I do feel some sympathy because Chris Albert, his son Colin, is potentially in danger if it's proven that he was involved in an incident at 34 Fairview. So he is the father. He, regardless of what anyone thinks, he is doing what nearly all fathers would do. He's protecting his son if that is the case. And for that, I don't think anyone can blame him. Possibly within Canton, there are others who have complaints for other things. But for the actual idea of protecting his son, I think we can all understand that if his son needs protecting.
Yannetti?
You know Courtney Proctor, correct?
Objection.
Allowed.
Yes,
And you know her to be Michael Proctor's sister, correct?
that's correct.
You attended Michael Proctor's sister's wedding, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. May we approach?
Sure. Why don't you come on over?
Yeah, so they don't like the connections of Proctor, who was the murder investigator, the police detective in charge of investigating the crime scene. He didn't even go inside 34 Fairview, and because he knows all of these police officers and small town politicians, and has known the family for many years and has gone to a wedding with them, and the prosecutor doesn't want the establishment of the lead investigator being childhood friends with the people inside 34 Fairview where the killing or murder or accident occurred.
I believe you testified, sir, that you've known Michael Proctor's sister for about 20 years.
Objection.
I don't think he said that, but we'll let that stand and then move on, please.
So here we have the judge's forensic linguistics and cognitive stress appearing. If we analysed her words, we would see the stuttering, which we'll analyse her statements on a later video, and see just how one-sided she is through her linguistics.
About 20 years. You testified.
Or if that's,
I believe, didn't you testify to that on direct examination just moments ago when Mr. Lally was asking you questions?
Objection, Your Honor.
Next question, Mr. Yannetti. Objection sustained.
How long have you known Michael Proctor for?
I mean, I know he's Courtney's brother. I couldn't tell you exactly how long I've known him for.
About 15 years or so?
Roughly.
All right. Who is Kenneth Berkowitz?
The former Canton police chief.
And how do you know him?
His son and my son are the same age. So they played on some sports teams when they were younger together. I think that's when I first came to know Ken.
You became friendly with him.
Okay, so here we see a change of language, and it's now Ken. So when we see a change of language in linguistics, we see a change of psychology. So here we see some closeness and some real friendliness, because he wasn't introduced as Ken, but in Chris's mind, it is now Ken. So there's some affection in the memory.
I became friendly with him, sure.
And how would you characterize your relationship with him?
Friends?
You've seen him socially.
Really.
You've been out for drinks with him.
I think maybe once.
And you've known him for how long?
20 plus years.
And you say you've only been out with him or drinks one time in those 20 years?
I can't even remember if it was with drinks one time. Yeah, no.
So cognitive stress, I can't even remember if it was drinks one time. Yeah, no. So in go the deception flags.
What other types of activities have you done together?
I can't think of any. I think he came to an event that I held one time. That's about it.
So we have minimization. Everything's very difficult to get out of this witness. Virtually everything is hedged. If we look at the percentage of answers to hedging, it's highly unusual, very high. So we have to ask ourselves the question, for a completely innocent person, why are they hedging so much? And why is the prosecutor concerned about the truth coming out with some fairly straightforward questions?
Have you been out with him in a group setting?
That event that I just mentioned, yeah.
And what event was that?
It was my campaign event when I was running for select board.
He was one of your supporters.
He came by.
Did he donate money to your campaign?
I think he did.
Sir, I'm going.
So everything's, I think, maybe, could be, everything's hedged. In go the deceptive flags. So a deceptive flag doesn't necessarily mean a lie. And even if a statement is absolutely full of clusters and superclusters of these deceptive flags, it doesn't mean that the person is guilty. But sometimes there is an explanation for the deception. And quite often it's because they know something that they don't want us to know as the interviewer or the questioner or the audience. So it's also quite common to see huge deception in a statement and the person does know who is guilty. That's quite common as well.
To display a photograph with the court's permission on the screen, and I'd ask you to take a look at it, and if you can let the jury know.
Do you have a hard copy of it?
Yes, we do have a hard copy.
So why don't you show it to the witness and
Happy
put it
to
in
do that.
evidence?
Thank you, Ron.
Okay.
Okay, sir, I've handed you a photograph. Do you recognize what that depicts?
Yes.
What does it depict?
Me and Kenny Berkowitz.
And is that a fair and accurate representation of you and Kenny Berkowitz?
You mean is the picture us?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I would offer that, Your Honor.
Okay.
There you go.
So, Mr. Albert, that's obviously you on the right and Kenny Berkowitz on the left.
Correct.
Have you seen that photo before?
I believe I've seen it.
Do you recall when?
I believe that's my fundraiser for when I was running for the select board, that event that I spoke of earlier.
Okay. And when would it have been that you saw that photograph?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it was on my Facebook page when I was running for select board. It looks familiar.
Has Mr. Lally shown you that photograph?
No.
Has he informed you that the defense would be introducing that photograph during this trial?
Nope.
You can take the photo down, Mr. Bates. And the lights can go on. You would agree with me that one of your functions as a selectman is to oversee public safety in the town?
Yes.
And you would agree that the police department...
So again, on truthful statements, we see very clear yeses, very clear nos.
Department is a key component of public safety in the town of Canton.
Yes.
So part of your duties as a town selectman is to oversee...
However, if we look at his facial expressions, even on the clear, truthful statements, his brain is rapidly assessing the safety of answering. Rapidly, in my opinion, assessing what little alleyway traps is this Yannetti leading me down. Why? Innocent, when I say innocent, I don't mean guilty of the crime, but innocent people around the crime don't show high levels of deception because they don't need to. Normal witnesses, a genuine witness, can just tell the truth. They don't have to have this pattern of hedging and avoidance and being concerned about the truth coming out.
The Canton Police Department, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll let him have it. Is that one of your duties, sir?
I believe so. I'm new at that. I'm recently elected, so I'm just going through it. But yeah, I believe so.
So the whole sentence there was deception in pattern. He would have us believe that he can't really answer that question because he's a new guy.
And you became a town selectman shortly after Kenny Berkowitz retired, correct?
I'm not sure when Kenny retired.
But you would agree with me that Kenny Berkowitz.
So here we have an example of avoiding the question and answering a different question. So in goes the deceptive marker.
Berkowitz has both personal and professional relationships with you and members of your family, correct?
Can you rephrase that?
You would agree with me that the former Canton police chief, Kenny Berkowitz, has both personal and professional relationships with you and members of your family.
Objection, Your Honor. It's the same question.
Go ahead and answer that question.
I'm not sure I agree with that question.
Well, your brother Kevin Albert worked under Chief Berkowitz, correct?
Correct.
Would you consider that to be a professional relationship?
With them two, yes.
And your brother Brian Albert attended Chief Berkowitz's retirement party, did he not?
I have no idea.
But your brother Brian is also a friend of Kenny Berkowitz, is he not?
He may be, not sure.
Okay, so Brian, the cop, whose front lawn John O'Keefe's body was found on, he's not sure if he's friend with the chief. He is, but he's not sure if his brother is. Everything is vague. Everything is getting blood out of a stone.
And as far as your, ties to the Canton Police, you would agree with me that Lieutenant Michael Blank is a member of the Canton Police Department, correct?
He is.
And you've been friends with him for years, correct?
I've known him for a long time.
You've been childhood friends with him since the age of 12, correct?
Somewhere around there. Maybe earlier.
And you're tight with him?
I don't know if I'd call it tight.
He's not an enemy of yours, is he?
Oh, God, no.
No, he's a friend of yours, correct?
Sure.
And does sure mean yes?
Yes.
Now, your older brother, Brian.
Okay, so Yannetti's going very slowly, but he's establishing that the lead detective and the police department as a whole and the chief, they all know each other, and they're all childhood friends, and they've all been to weddings. They're tight, and they would all protect each other. And certainly, from Chris Albert's perspective, he would certainly protect his family members if something untoward had happened at 34 Fairview that would endanger anyone.
You've already testified was a Boston police officer for years, correct?
Correct.
And he achieved some notoriety on a television show, did he not?
Objection.
Okay.
He was in the fugitive unit?
Correct.
And you know that your brother Brian was also a trained boxer, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Brian is a lot bigger guy than you are, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Your brother Brian.
So it seems like boxing is a popular pastime in the family. Isn't Colin a boxer? I think from his own cross-examination that was revealed. So it looks like Brian's a boxer as well.
Albert is someone who is close to his family, correct?
Yes.
And when I say his family, I'm talking about not just his, wife and children, but also his extended family, correct?
Yes.
You were part of his family, obviously, correct?
Yes.
And your son Colin is part of his family, correct?
Yes.
The Albert family is close, correct?
Yes.
You all essentially grew up in Canton, correct?
Correct.
And you hung out with each other growing up, correct?
We were siblings, so
Of course.
yes.
And you still hang out with each other quite often, correct?
Like all of us,
In various combinations.
we have different relationships with my siblings.
Sure. But you see some more than others, but you hang out with your family, do you not?
Yeah, mostly during holidays,
And you go out for drinks together, correct?
occasionally,
And you're protective of each other, correct?
like most families.
And if someone had a dispute with a member of the Albert family, Brian wouldn't be happy about that, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
You know that Brian would stick up for your kids, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Your son Colin is particularly close to your brother Brian, is he not?
Objection.
I'll let him have that. Do you know?
Yes.
In fact, your son Colin,
Is a judge supposed to say things like, I'll let him have that, almost disparaging in front of a jury in America? Or are they just supposed to rule, as in overruled or sustained? Are they meant to say, I'll let him have that? As if we don't really want to give him too much, but we'll let him have that. Or is that normal? I don't know.
was a football player through high school, was he not?
Yes.
What was his number?
In high school?
Yes.
Okay, questioning the question is a deceptive marker. It's often an attempt to buy thinking time. If you heard the question quite clearly, which I believe he did, so he's buying a little bit of thinking time. I understand that Colin was a very good footballer, American football. I understand he had 34 on his jersey, and of course it's 34 Fairview. And the argument that Yannetti is putting forward is that Brian Albert, whose house it is, where John O'Keefe was found dead on the lawn, was very, very close with Colin. And in fact, the lead investigator of the murder knew them all and didn't even go inside the house where arguably the murder happened, because that was the house that the party was at. I mean, it's incredible. Around the world, people cannot believe that there's a killing of a Boston cop and the investigators don't even go inside the house party house. It's incredible. And the judge wouldn't allow any photographs or evidence of what occurred inside that house. It's probably the only murder case where nobody's allowed to go inside the house and you've got a dead cop on the front lawn. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Let's carry on.
34, I believe.
Okay, so his tonality, pitch, facial expression is pretending. He even says, I believe. His own son's jersey, come on. You know exactly what it is, and you know exactly why. So why lie? In my opinion, it's a barefaced lie. You would know. Everybody would know.
And was that for 34 Fairview?
I don't think.
So here we have the shake of the head, the little I don't think so, and the little smirk and the little laugh to accompany it. This is in my opinion, outright deception. He's concerned of identifying just how close they all are. Now, innocent statements, you wouldn't have that concern. It's over concern.
So,
Now, you testified you moved to Maple,
Let's see that again.
and was that for 34 Fairview?
I don't think so.
Let's see the whole thing
Brother
again.
Brian, is he not?
Objection.
I'll let him have that. Do you know?
Yes.
In fact, your son Colin was a football player through high school, was he not?
Yes.
What was his number?
In high school?
Yes.
34, I believe.
And was that for 34 Fairview?
I don't think so.
Now, you testified you moved to Maple Street in Canton not long before January 28th of...
Maybe there's an innocent explanation, but I would be very surprised because the facial expression, the laugh, the tone, the pitch, in my experience, that's deception. Let's have a look at the analysis. So we saw extreme hedging. I won't go through word by word because we've just heard it, but let's have a look at the patterns. In blue, we mark up reasons why and buts and ifs and maybes. No, well, actually, maybe is a hedging. So we would mark that in gold. Here we have pink. So this is sensitivity, where we see cognitive overload and repeated words. We'll mark that in pink. Overall, we're not seeing a hugely deceptive pattern. We are at the beginning of the cross-examination, and also Chris is innocent of any crime. So we're not seeing huge deception patterns, but we are seeing deceptive flags where it's sensitive. This sort of thing, the I think maybe, the hedging. So whenever the questions become sensitive or endanger other people, we see an increase in the deception markers and the hedging. Overall, it's very difficult to get a straight answer out of him without a hedge. And the mathematical, the percentage-wise hedging answers are high. Okay, so yeah, here we saw the change of language in the change of name. Proctor named a pronoun shift as it becomes more sensitive. Can you rephrase that type of answers when he needs more thinking time? This is interesting, a triple hedging, which is unusual. I always like to find these. So look at this. About, or so, roughly. 3 qualifiers in a single response, and a short sentence at that. About 15 years or so, roughly. So when we see this sort of triple hedging, it means they're sensitive. And in this case, he's sensitive about saying, yes, it's a very tight community where we're in tight with the leadership of law enforcement, and where the murder investigator, which is another chap, Proctor, we've known him for years as well. And would that explain why the lead investigator wouldn't even go inside the murder house? I mean, in the annals of American crime history, has there been another case of a dead cop on the front lawn where the other cops who are meant to be investigating their fallen officer didn't go inside the house where the party was at? It's incredibly shoddy detective work, at the very least. Okay, So yeah, look at this, hedging frequency high. Okay, so that brings us to the end of part one of this cross-examination, and we shall, and also this is the baseline, so it's more the boring part, the more establishing some of the facts, but it's gonna get more interesting as Yannetti starts to really ask the more sensitive questions. So as a quick reminder, do check out the trial channel, excellent channel, and we've been borrowing their videos, so please do and subscribe to them. And if you have a chance to hit the notification bell for my own channel, Veroscope, and subscribe, please do. And I look forward to speak with you in the comments. Okay, have a lovely day.